Okay, so that's those two books. Now we have these two books. This is Airfix Little Soldiers. These are toys and figures by Jean Christopher Carbonell. And it runs through, well, here, I'll read it for you. Airfix Little Soldiers, HOOO, 1959 to 2009. Although in fact molded from other materials like plaster, resin, and aluminum, until the 50s, lead soldiers were the soldiers that both collectors and children had to play with. In both cases, there were two important points about these figures. They were 2 inches tall, 54 millimeters, and they were expensive, so you couldn't either own many or really use them because they took up so much space, thereby reducing the possibilities of reconstituting complex scenes. You can therefore imagine what a revolution it was for kids as well as collectors when they were suddenly able to get a hold of figures in large numbers and at little cost. Moreover, the complex scenes comprising of vehicles and buildings could be reconstituted because the figures were small. Since the mid-'80s, and in particular during the 90s, the Little Soldier gamut of product has literally exploded, in particular in names like Revell, Hart, Emher, and numerous others of Eastern Europe. But up until then, Airfix was the king of the castle and eventually became a standard to be equaled. The present book is therefore devoted to English manufacturer and the course of its reissues, its competitors, and even the copycats are not neglected. This is history and collections. Okay? This is a really cool book. Neat stuff, huh? The Foreign Legion. Africa Corps. Patton and Rommel are like my all-time favorite World War II generals. And this book just goes on and on with literally cool stuff. Not bad, huh? Like, wow. Let's see. It just goes through the years, so if you don't have this book, pick it up. It's definitely well worth getting your hands on that book. Now, for you guys who like to collect, look at this. This is Blast from the Past. Battle of the Bulge. This is all 54 millimeter. You're going to notice there's a 135th scale or 132nd scale. And this is the Battle of the Great Battles of History, The Bulge by Thomas Perry. And that's an old rebel Sherman that they set on fire. Battle of the Bulge. From 1941 to 1945, Americans and British were engaged in the most vicious struggle of all time in World War II. It was waged to halt the armies of an insane and ingenuous dictator, Adolf Hitler. By 1941, he had much of Europe, and the Allies had to fight desperately to gain it. One of the worst setbacks occurred in the icy winter of 1944. The war was nearly over, and the Allied forces had the Germans on the run when Hitler sprang a surprise attack on the American forces in the Ardennes. Right here. We had the British and Canadians up here, and the Americans here. But these are monogram models here. These are the soldiers from Monogram, the Jeep from Monogram. So all you guys who used to like to collect Monogram soldiers, remember we got them in the model? These are them. I don't know where the German troops come from, because they're not Monogram. They're something else. They're totally different. These are toy tanks, and I don't know where they're from. These are metal soldiers here. These guys right here are all Monogram soldiers right there. I don't know who maybe the Germans or Britons, I'm not sure. Those are all Monogram soldiers right there. I know these are those toy tanks. That might be a monogram model right there. But these tigers and panthers, they're like toy tanks. And there we go. That's definitely like the old Monogram. Remember the motor crew in here. These are two Rebel Shermans. That's a Monogram Jeep. That's a Monogram half-track. Those are the Monogram soldiers there for Americans. Those are Monogram half-track Jeep and the 2.5-ton trucks. The Sherman is a Rebel. Still, I don't remember who those Germans, what company made those Germans. Setting the model tank on fire. Those are Monogram soldiers right there. The Americans. Same thing right there, that motor crew. And all these guys here. It's a shame this book is falling apart. But not gonna last forever. Oh, Monogram Jeep. Oh. There we go. Alright, so that was a little stroll down there. Memory lane on all Monogram stuff. So now let's do a comparison. Finally got this in the mail, guys. I've been wanting to get this set for a while. And this is the original Battle of Waterloo assault set. Inside we have the farmhouse. We have some Royal Horse. We got some French artillery. We got some line infantry for the British. We got some line infantry for the French, and we got some Imperial Guard. The only thing that I believe that's missing is the Landwehr and the Highlanders. And Hussars. There's no Hussars, there's no Cuirassiers as well. But I'm not sure what came with this set. But this was the original set. Alright. Then they came out with this set. And this set came out with the Hussars, the French artillery, the Landwehr, the line, the Royal Horse. I'm pretty sure that, I wonder if did they get Sam. Yep, you did get Cuirassiers with this. You got British Hussars, British infantry, Royal Horse, French artillery, Cuirassiers, Imperial Guard, French line, and Highlanders, and Landwehr. So that was the complete set. That was everybody in that set, which I think I'm assuming it should have been in there too as well. So this was the first set that came out. That one right there. That was your first set. This was your second set. And the box is so much bigger, so much thicker. You actually got paint in there as well. And then this is the most recent set here. It was the 2015 anniversary of Waterloo set that came out, which basically you got everything in there with the paints and everything, but somehow, some way, the box is a little bit thinner. So those are the three. And I did end up getting 2 boxes of Landwehr from eBay, so they're on the way. But if anybody wants to, if you want anything, let me know, and I'll trade you for any of the extra Landwehr you don't want. But I've got, and what I'm doing is this, is you'll see here, as I just threw together. My 2 remaining ones right there. I painted a long time ago. That's it, guys. That's so this will come out, and I'll replace it with the Landwehr. But that's what I'm doing. All right, guys. So that's the update for this week, and just run through this battle set here. These here. There's the assault set, and that one, and this one, which is pretty neat. And oh, here's the yeah, that's what the artillery is looking like so far. So I'm putting those guys together. Pretty neat. Working on my 28mm Windland Indians. And that's about it, guys. Wow. So, guess that's it. I guess that's enough, huh? Wow. All right. So I'm still playing with these guys over here. Just figuring out what I'm going to do. But so far I'm just having fun. I got this box over here that just picked up recently. The American Revolution War, the Patriots. Gary had some pretty cool artillery and that he had put together for the American War of Independence. And I've got my stuff down here. Washington's Army and my Grenadiers. Of course, we got the last outpost right there. And then this probably was the cheapest way for me to get the artillery that I wanted. So I ended up picking this setup, which was pretty cheap. So, and Gary gave me the idea of grabbing the artillery. So now I have some artillery and some extra colonials for my War of Independence or my French-Indian War in the 1/72nd scale. So that works out. That's actually, you get, well, in this set you get 74 Continental troops, 71 British, 4 cannon, 4 cannon and diorama base. This one here you get 71 British troops, 2 horses, 2 riders, and 4 cannon as well. And they don't look too bad. These are British. And they're pretty neat. So you get 2 sprues of those guys. And then you get your sprue of artillery pieces. They're kind of small. They're like tiny. I don't know how that's going to work out. But, I mean, they're like, wow. That's like tiny. Cheapest creepers. And then we got the artillery here as well. See how that works out. I don't know, maybe I'll steal some cannons from my, the colonials look good. These guys look good. I'm not too crazy about the artillery pieces. I like the crew. The crew members are pretty cool, but the cannons are like, look at how small those cannons are. Good God, really? Look at that. Is it me, Gary? You're going to have to fill me in on that one. Because, I mean, look at the difference in the size of the cannons. Cheapest. Right? Even the wheels. I don't know.